Why are you stuck in this, like, mode of garbage? Sorry, I have to turn off my TV. Oh, man. Sorry. Neither of us are scientists. I don't even know where babies come from.
Is that real loud for you guys? It's too bad.
Welcome to AllJak, where you will find the most comprehensive film and TV reviews in the world thanks to our patented 5R system. Recap, react, roast, review, and ranking. Today the boys are watching Candyman, released in 1992. With a budget of $9 million, it brought in nearly $26 million at the box office. It was received well, pulling in a 77% on the tomato meter and 62% from the audience. Respectable. Now for the first hour, the recap.
Helen Lyle and her friend Bernadette are doing a research paper on urban myths. The urban myth Candyman has been attributed to many murders in the local area of Cabrini Green. Helen, of course, doesn't believe in these myths and says Candyman 5 times in the mirror to prove that they don't exist. Turns out Candyman is real, though. He's a slave who was killed by bees by racists. Not just racists. Racist bees. Because Helen is doing a paper to disprove the myth of Candyman, Candyman must frame Helen for several murders and kidnappings in order to make people believe in Candyman again. After Candyman completely ruins Helen's life, Helen agrees to be Candyman's victim in order to save the life of a baby. Helen perishes in a fire, only to return as Candyman's protege, killing her ex-husband who was cheating on her with a student of his. Gross.
React and roast. Why roast, you ask? Great question, guy. We roast because everything deserves to be laughed at.
Like we'd sit at the end of, like, every time we watch a movie in the theater, where we sit through the credits and like read the names as if it was some type of game.
Oh yeah.
And now,
no, we read it like no way. Vanessa Williams is in this.
Dijon Guy? Is that how you say that?
I would say Dewan.
I mean, that's what I meant.
I doubt his name is like Dijon.
Ketchup, right? The Forbidden, like Clive Barker.
You know what?
This is about?
That's pretty dang good.
Great. She just cleaned the apartment. Oh, dude, that is super tasty, man.
It's way good.
What is this called? Just a circus time?
Circus time from Walmart. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. But if it was a sponsor...
But it isn't.
We'd have a lot more of it.
But we wouldn't.
Because it's not.
What's blood for? If not for shame.
That's a lot of bees. Is this what you should do when you're getting like ready for romantic time?
Dude, nothing gets me more hot and heavy than somebody being like, they stubbed a hook in his stubby, bloody hand.
She turned out the lights.
Holy.
What he saw turned his hair white.
There is absolutely no filter between those two floors whatsoever.
Are separated by sponges. It's just, the contractor is just like, typically we do wood, but you know, something porous might be a little better.
Kill with a hook. Yeah. It's true.
How would you know that?
How would you know it was a hook? Not a knife.
Right, or like anything that's sharp that could puncture your skin.
If he showed up and right before the kill, that shopkeeper showed up.
Now that's every green, not that you'd recognize.
Who can kill you right now? Stab you with a hook.
Leave you left for dead and make it look like suicide. The Candyman can. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Park on the grass.
What?
Why'd you park on the grass?
Just going inside.
You just drove right onto the lawn.
I don't even know where she got a license.
Excuse me, y'all can come up here.
Sorry.
Holy shit.
Why? You didn't even want to talk to him. What was the point of even going out there? Karen.
Look at my dog. That's enough. That's enough looking. She uses her coat to drape over the nasty coat, the nasty tub.
Because she's a good friend.
Here, take care of my coat. Okay.
Put it on the floor.
That's cool.
That's actually pretty fantastic.
That's way cool.
I would love to know the backstory about why he just did that. What was he talking about?
I'm being very nice.
Took off his glasses.
My favorite subject. The legend first appeared in where they proceeded to saw off his right hand with a rusty blade. But this was just the beginning of his ordeal. Nearby there was an apiary. Dozens of hives filled with hungry bees. They smashed the hives and stole the honeycomb.
They eat flesh?
Yeah.
Bees eat flesh?
Candyman was stung to death by the bees. It burned his body on a giant pyre and then scattered his ashes over
He was already
Cabrini.
dead though, so at this point, like, this is just all...
Just saying, that's a rough backstory. When they came out with the new Candyman, they should have teamed up with Honey Nut Cheerios and marketed it with his face, and they could put the cereal bowl in his mouth. He's screaming and have the little bee like stinging all over his face.
Have like the bee drizzling him in honey, like the bee sneaking up behind him. You have a lot of different cover art for that.
The main bee is just happily pouring honey down his screaming
There's
face.
like tons of other bees and just like salivating. We're so hungry. I like how he said the bees were hungry, but they stung him to death. What was the point of telling them that they were hungry?
Just
He just punched this dude to death because he was so hungry.
so hungry. I just punched a guy to death. Why did you do it, sir?
Super hungry.
Sir, the world needs to know. Why did you punch that man to death? I was so hungry.
I haven't had any food.
Why didn't you eat a sandwich? Oh! I could have eaten a sandwich, right? I didn't need to punch that man to death.
It's all bees, man. We could have just eaten the honey instead of stinging this dude to death.
Yeah, for the park. They floating in the toilet.
Found what floating in the toilet? So I didn't, what? What did they find floating in the toilet?
Oh, that was rough. That was rough. Sweets to the sweet.
Sweets to the sweet.
Except that is written in feces.
Ah. Wow, that definitely is poop. Sweet to the sweet. That's so much poop.
It's so much. That was like a group effort.
Step back.
Holy wow! Freaking crap! That hook was something else.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's 1 through 5. All of them are guilty.
Okay, but if you walked into the police precinct and they were like, "Hey, we're looking for someone who said this line in an assault case," and you were the guy that did it because that was the guy that did it, wouldn't you stand up there and be like, "Hey, you're looking for Candyman?
Oh, hey, kids! Hey, you looking for Candyman?
Clearly, it's not that guy. Listen to his voice. Why would he say the line exactly the way he said it in real life?
Just be a little bit louder with the wrapping paper, okay?
Okay.
Hey, Jake.
Candyman ain't real.
And who cut off my friend's wing? Who knows?
No, it's much better. Look.
I would say I like that plot choice though, to like have like a
Of course not.
gang person taking the name and committing crimes, because it totally disarms everyone and like obviously it's not supernatural. It's this guy taking advantage of rumors.
Oh, I've got a surprise for you.
What?
You're not going to believe it.
I mean, I might.
The pictures, a friend of mine.
Boys meet me. Ooh,
That voice.
that was cool. was cool. Made it sound like it was coming from right inside of her head.
Who is that?
That's a boss bad guy. Just stand there. It's like, I'm in full control.
He doesn't even need to teleport right behind
Do
her.
I know you?
Which you're about to.
Cool. He is so cool.
I'm sorry, I have to go.
Oh gosh. Your dog deserved it. He kept jumping over people. Oh, why would you do that?
Oh my gosh.
You could have used the backside.
Quick question. Is that a normal place to hide weapons?
Baby.
This is cool. You notice Candyman asked permission to make her his
A
victim. And she was like, no. And then the next thing she knows, she wakes up in the most incriminating crime scene you could possibly imagine.
Yes or no?
Yes or no? I mean,
Yes? No, because
animal murder, breaking and entering,
They don't know that she did it.
vicious attack, and a missing child, and you're going to let her go on bail?
two things. One, it's all circumstantial. Yeah, she was holding a meat cleaver standing over a black lady with a dead baby.
Covered in blood.
Covered in blood. That's circumstantial at best. She's zooming in.
They're going to try and pull off one of those enhance, then enhance. But it's a projector. It's like, you can't do that.
Her eyes did it.
That's not how it works. What? Where are you getting that image from?
Where in the heck did you get the quality?
That doesn't even...
That's like a 4K picture right
Well,
there.
no, but that's not even really realistic on a computer. But she's doing it on a
You
projector.
don't understand. She's got one of those NASA projectors that can like use AI to recreate a picture and then like fill in all the pixels that didn't actually exist.
Enhance.
Enhance.
Sir, this is a projector. There's no... you can't create pixels.
Don't backsass me! Enhance it! You're like, oh, okay, God. Just zoom in. Just draw something. The thing that kills me about it, though, is like the picture was already blurry, and then she zoomed into more, and then wow. She didn't turn off the light.
Well, how many bad guys ask permission to make you their victim? That is...
She still has a knife!
That's so good! That's so good! That is so good!
Ellen or something?
Holy...
Wow, what happened to her
Oh
face?
my gosh. Exactly.
I see.
So Candyman is playing the long game. He could easily kill her, but that's not going to fulfill his purpose.
He's putting from the fairway. That's what he's doing.
Run from the fairway.
Playing the long game. Pretty sure that's what
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure that's what that means. And if it's not, it's what I meant, okay? It's putt from the fairway. He's playing the long game.
You're not driving Tiger. He's on the middle of the fairway. He's 300 yards out.
He's pulled out the putter. He's working on that long game.
He's playing the long game.
Playing the long game.
And on hole 3, Tiger ends with a 42 over.
Did you see that? Normally you put the alcohol before you stick them with the needle. Why is she surprised? That's exactly what she just wanted. Because she's not strapped anymore. The heck how in the hell did she break the window? Or the credits.
Candyman can. He is the best. Hi, what you doing out? What are you?
Why would you let her in? Did you see that knockout? Oh, why would I don't remember the walls are being pink.
They weren't.
Oh, it's been a month. Okay. It's like, for some reason, that amount of time just didn't really... Oh, gosh. Sorry, I'm just super high. Is this your apartment?
That reaction is so weird. She was just like immediately like,
Let's just play Limp Zombie and just pretend I didn't know what was going on. She's laughing? She thinks something's funny?
I think she's crying. She's just not a good actress.
Give us a surprise reaction, okay? So you guys go limp when you get scared?
So what's going on in this scene? You're going to turn around, and a convicted murderer is going to be in your home. Go. Take 45. You know what? Let's just cut it.
We don't have the budget to like keep the film. Let's just take that one.
Candyman has systematically dissected her life and destroyed every aspect of it so perfectly and brutally. He is an absolute genius. As campy and as goofy as this movie is,
The villain is spot on.
awesome. Okay, that's why he wears the coat. Look! I think that's real. I think that's real.
Well, he's a bee tamer.
Look at that. I think that's real.
He's a bee tamer.
Oh!
It's okay. Can you throw it? Man, that's the worst place to get stabbed. It's right with bees. Everybody knows that.
She's like, looks like you damaged your bees pretty over here.
What happened? He's like, Lois.
She's actually on fire. That stunt woman is on fire.
I'm gonna be honest, I think burning to death would be way more painful than being stung to death.
You tell us. Burning to death or stung by bees to death? Well,
Death by fire or death by bees?
How would you want to die? You tell us in the comments.
She dead?
Yes, she's dead.
Commit to Almighty God our sister Helen, and we commit her body to the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
How'd she
Lord
die?
bless her and keep her. God of holiness and power.
For that second, I thought you were being serious.
It's that kid feels like a piece of crap. He's gonna let her on fire. Thought it was Candyman.
Nice dinner.
Look at the size of that paperclip. Did you see that?
No. Huh? Oh, you're paying attention.
Look at that. Look at that
Why?
paperclip. Why is it so big? And why is it hanging on the wall like decoration? Why is she holding the knife?
Why is she holding it like that? Candyman lives on as a female.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means? That means that the Candyman that made her into a Candyman probably wasn't the original Candyman. And the myth has been around for a very long time, and it just recycles
He was just
itself.
looking for someone to pass the torch on.
Right. See? That's what he wanted. He wanted a goddess, like to have new people believe in her. So that he could just not have bees in his stomach. You know how bad it hurts to get stabbed by the bees? Candyman could have been all the way before Jesus.
Yeah! The Caveman Candyman.
Caveman can't. I like the sound of that.
Let's make that a movie.
Yep, Neanderthal
Caveman
Candyman.
Candyman.
Well, it's gonna be.
It just has like a rock.
Yep, but then there's gonna be one that comes up. He's like, nice.
Any good names here? We got
Michelle Bueller, Irma Kent,
Robert Wirt. Robert Wirt. Robert Wirt.
Robert Wirt. What?
Robert Wirt. His name was Robert Wirt.
Let's do some good ones. Dale Enema.
Enema?
Etema.
I was gonna say Dale Enema.
Etima?
That's
Steve Facebook Smith. Good for him. Good for him.
Steve Facebook Smith. Title designed by Heart times coffee equals lightning.
What?
Time for the 4th R review.
You know, for being as old as it was, I think the jump scares were actually well placed. I'm not a fan of jump scares, but 1992.
But we both agree that jump scares are still a necessary part of horror, just as long as you are not depending on the jump scares
Exactly.
for your horror element.
And that's why I thought they did a good job.
For example, that scene with him walking towards her in the parking garage, he did not have a jump scare.
Nope.
He walked towards her,
very calmly, but there was this very menacing tone about the way he talked to her and the way they did the sound and just the way that she was in that trance and the tears and that was such a good horror scene, and it didn't rely on some cheap, like, open the car door and something pops out at you.
And the cool thing about it that I like about this film is it didn't rely on horrific graphics to create the villain. Like, you got like Alien, Predator, I mean, you can get Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, right? Jason Voorhees. Like, you get all these people that Leatherface, right? You get all these people that look just disgustingly menacing. Then this guy, like, other than his hand, like, mind you, his hand, like, that is what it is. But like, the guy looked like a gentleman. Like, he dressed like a gentleman, spoke like a gentleman. He never screamed. Oh yeah, good looking guy. Other than like getting stabbed right in the beehole, but like other than that, like, right? That's what it is. But other than that, I think they did a good job with that. Just making the character.
In the beehole.
You can interpret that how you will, right? But you saw it.
No, it was an actual hole
It
with
was a
bees
hole.
in it.
Interpret that how you will, right? But it's painful to have a flaming stake shoved right there. Right there.
Right in the beehole. Alright, so we were actually pretty happy with it.
That's a positive review. Moving on to the ranking. There are 5 categories with a total of 10 possible points in each one. Both Ammon and Daniel are responsible for 50 points, resulting in a possible score out of 100. Category 1. Plot.
Overall, for the plot, if you'd asked me at the beginning, I probably would have given it only like a 4 or 5. But strictly based on Candyman's ability to control what was happening in the situation and make every single thing work, I'm going to give it overall an 8. I'm going to give that an 8. There were a couple things that I had issues with, but overall, he was a menacing villain.
It's funny you say that because I was thinking 8 in my head. I was like, Candyman's ability to completely sabotage her life and force her into his will was just like expertly done. I think she was kind of an idiot, and I think her husband's an idiot, and that's why it's not the 9s or the 10s. But I feel like in the horror genre, the villain is such a hard thing to get. And I feel like they really nailed it with this guy, so I gave an 8 as well.
Category 2. Character development.
I'm giving this one a 6 because Candyman himself was amazing, but again, I kind of feel like some of the other characters were either not important at all and like could have been taken out of the film and it like wouldn't have been any different, but also it was a little one-dimensional with the characters. There wasn't like really that much growth or anything, so I gave it a 6 overall.
I'm going to actually play off of that. So mine's a 4, and the reason why it's a 4, Candyman himself is amazing. His backstory is a little bit over the top, just in terms of why he does what he does. I still don't know. Maybe he just hates bees. I honestly don't know. But his character's fantastic. I like him. But all the other characters, supporting and even like secondary, just non-supportive characters that just existed, even the extras, for me, they were just incredibly stereotypical, generic.
Category 3. Visual.
For this one, I'm giving it a 6 again, because I feel like as plain as the movie was, when they did get into the horror elements, I thought all of the practical effects were like really well done, especially the poop on the walls. Just a highlight of my evening.
So much poop.
To see so much poop on the walls. With such care as well. I mean, like, they really Bob Rossed that poop onto the wall.
And I would have given it higher if it was an earlier made film. So if it was made in the 70s or 80s, I would have scored it higher. I'm going to give it a 6 as well on that one. There were a couple scenes that I think were absolutely fantastic. So the bees, obviously, coming out of his face, going into her mouth. Like, I thought that was just absolutely gorgeous. And one thing that I noticed in this film, every time he put her in a trance, you notice that like the camera like dimmed down and the light only affected her eyes.
Yes, I did like that. I did like that a lot.
There's another movie that does that really well, Silence of the Lambs. Like, does that with Clarice, does that with Anthony Hopkins, one of my favorite actors of all time. So I'm going to give it a 6. I would have scored it lower, but those couple elements boosted it back up to a 6 overall. I think in 1992 they probably could have put a little more money into the effects, but overall it wasn't bad.
Category 4. Objective.
I'm giving this a 8 because I feel like it did have the horror element, it did have the menacing feeling, it did give you that unnerving, I don't know what's going to happen quite yet. I felt like the plot was very well laid out and it didn't try to be more than it was trying to be.
You know, I'm going to agree with that. I gave it an 8 as well. It's actually funny that you said that too. And I agree on all the premises on that. Like, at no point in time was this a comedy for the time. Like, it didn't have any elements that were ridiculous, like too over the top, like a lot of movies have nowadays, that they're almost trying too hard to be scary. Like, overall, I think it did achieve its goal of being a horror film. So, I gave it an 8.
For our fifth and final category of our judging is, as always, the number of bees in a film. The more bees you have, the better the film. Everyone knows this. Everyone who's gone to film school knows the more bees you have in your film, the higher the quality. So I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I mean, there were bees for days. It was just an absolute symphony of bees. What's your score, Dan?
I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. I am going to be a little bit more critical. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Yes, there were a massive amount of bees. The opening scene where the bees swallowed the entire World Trade Center, rest in peace,
That wasn't the World Trade Center.
Wherever it was, you know, Chicago, I'm assuming, some tall building. There were a lot of bees. I'm not so much just for the amount. I'm also for the variety. All we saw were just
He's always doing this. Every movie we watch.
Stereotypical honeybees.
There's not enough representation of the bee species.
I wanted to see killer bees.
A bee's
I wanted
a
to
bee.
see Australian bees.
Call me old-fashioned, a bee's a bee. You know, I call them like I see them.
And I disagree.
I could see two bees next to each other. I wouldn't know that they're different bees.
Henry and Suzanne.
No, they're all from the same kind of general area. They all look the same.
That's
I know
like
that's
assuming that
controversial to say.
That's like
but they
saying
look
that
the
every
same.
person is the same. We're not. Bees have very, very distinct characteristics. I would like to see more variety. I'm giving it an 8.
Okay.
8 out of 10.
So, that is a score of 34 from Daniel and 38 from Ammon, giving Candyman 1992 a total of 72 out of 100. Stay tuned as we review Candyman 2 and 3 before watching the 2021 remake of Candyman, the entire Candyman Saga, all before Halloween. Thanks for joining us and we hope you have enjoyed yourself.